What is up, Knights of Vex? The conquest for Jedi training Leia has officially begun today, and that means Vex has a whole bunch of cheeses coming your way to make these feats super efficient and easy for you. Now, big keynote I want to talk about. A couple of days ago, I did come out with my pre-conquest guide, going over each of the sectors in an infographic type of setting. I highly recommend you guys check that out. I will post that video's link in the description down below. And also, the infographics are in my Discord, so if you want to see them in a PDF file or a PNG, come to my Discord in the infographic section, and you will check it out there. That link will be in the description down below as well. So for today, I want to go over all the Sector 1 feats. Now, another thing I want to talk about is that this might not necessarily cater to players that are going hard for Coliseum or going really hard or Endgame, that might not have a full ISB lineup or a full Cassian and/or unlock. This is meant for early game players and players that do not have the new teams up and running. So there's going to be way easier things to do for these feats, like running a full squad of Cassian or a full squad of ISB. That will get this done a lot faster. This is meant for the players that don't have access to all the new toys or even high gear or high relic. So I want to get that out of the way. Not going to be catered for everyone, more for early to mid game for players that do not have access to all of these characters. More later on in the conquest when I find some more cool cheeses for players that need it. I will definitely get that done. But heading into game really quick, I want to talk about specifically Sector 1 is where we're at right now. And I just completed it. I am currently skipping the KX Security Droid one because it's a little grindy, but I will showcase some of the battles. I have 3 accounts of how I was able to get it done. You're either going to do the full ISB team, or I like to run a Mandalorian team with it, or you could just run it with the Galactic Legend. Pretty simple. It's 5 key cards. But today, we're going to showcase how to get Retaliate in one battle when you don't have a full squad of ISB, you don't have Darkside Ray, you don't have Gungans, you don't have Pirates. I'm going to show you guys a cool cheese. It requires a certain lineup, and you got to play manual, but it is worth it. And it's also going to help with your global feat, Undermine. So if you don't have a full ISB or Cassian and/or unlocked, it's actually going to help you for your global Undermine feat. So I want to showcase all of it. The 300 dots, that's a nice, quick, and easy one and done. The team I'm going to show you also helps accumulate the dots as well because of Wat Tambor. And the 100 buffs is the easiest thing in the entire conquest. So we're going to get right into it. I'm going to show you guys 2 different variations of the Retaliate feat. Now, the data disc for my free-to-play account, I'm going to attach the data disc right before the video begins for each battle. But for my free-to-play account, I was rocking Perseverance, which is really good for the strategy because whenever an ally is attacking out of turn, they attack again. And that's going to be really helpful with Dedra Meero's basic because whenever she attacks an enemy that has Expose, she's gaining Retaliate. So she's attacking twice, she's inflicting Expose, and then attacking an exposed target, which means Retaliate. Everything else is more of a luxury, not really an essential. I think Perseverance for the one strategy is essential, but the other ones, I don't think I had any single data disc attached. Maybe Blindside. I had Blindside on the other one because when you attack out of turn, you're inflicting Exposed. That's going to help you stack really well with Dedra's basics. So we're going to go all over into the video. So I'm going to showcase a bunch of different battles, going over the mini boss, going over the final boss. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to move me over here. I have the video, and we're going to go full screen. So let's get to it right now. The first thing I want to showcase, this is something I've done in many different conquests before. Just have to show it in case anyone is new or they don't realize that this is a thing. If you want to get 300 dots done in a single battle, Tuskens are the team to do it, and you really want to go against Terminator heavy teams. I luckily found Imperial Troopers on Sector 1. That is one of the go-tos for this because they literally run a Terminator train on you, which means more damage over times. Another team you could do is General Grievous with Droids, a lot of Terminator generation on that team. Resistance, another high Terminator gain team. Those are the 3 big ones that I can think off the top of my head, but Imperial Troopers are definitely number 1. So we're going to play this out. I'm probably going to go on a little bit faster speed. Just send this on full auto. You're going to see here, once they start to take some turns, it's just, you're going to see all these dots. You know what? We'll go on 2x speed for this one. You're going to see that 6 dots, and it's just going to start to ramp even more. That's 11, that's 13, 8, 6, and 5, 39. It's just an endless amount of dots. That's 78, 37, 32, 51, 40. That's more than enough dots for the feed. So I just have to showcase this is by far the easiest thing to do. If you don't have Tuskens, go with a Vader team or a Lord Vader. Really good at inflicting dots. So I do want to showcase that. Now, this is going to be the first strategy that I'm going to showcase. It's Major Partagaz, Dedra Meero, Wat Tambor, Echo, Bad Batch Echo, and Kylo Ren Unmasked. Now, I know what you're thinking, Vex. Your Major Partagaz and Dedra are at 5-star and at relics. The reason why they are so high is because on my free-to-play account, I was able to get them to 5-star, and then CG made the mess up, and I was able to bring them to relics for free because they literally gave it away to the entire community. That is the only reason why. You do not need these characters at Zeta or relics to get this done. Promise you. The most important character is probably going to be your tank for surviving. If you don't have a good tank, it's going to be a really hard time. But you can do any different tank that you want. You can do Kylo Ren Unmasked, you can do Balin, you can do Morgan Elsbeth, you can do Reva, Malgus. You have to do a tank that has protection because it's going to synergize really well with Wat Tambor. And Bad Batch Echo is actually really nice here for 2 reasons. Number 1, in AoE days, helps slow down the enemy team. But more importantly, he has an AoE expose on his middle ability. He can inflict expose on all enemies, and that's going to tie in really well with Dedra Meero. So Major Partagaz is great because whenever he calls a ISP ally to assist with his Mass Swarm, they get Retaliate. And then with him only calling Dedra to assist on a basic, it's really helpful against those exposed enemies. So I'm going to show you 2 different variations of the feat. So we're going to go ahead and start this battle really quick. I will eventually put it on 2x speed, but I will give you guys the gist. The number 1 thing is you put the tank tech on crew. Go for an AoE daze in the beginning. You want to just make sure you can slow them down. Next up, I'm putting the weapon tech on Dedra Meero. I wanted to take as many turns as possible. Now over here, no enemy had exposed, so there's no reason to do a basic. So I end up using the middle ability on Kylo Ren Unmasked. That's giving him Undermine. That's helping you count towards your global feat. So if anyone doesn't have an Undermine team, this will help you. Now, before I also go further, I am going against a Bounty Hunter squad. Preferably, you want to find a team that does not have any AoEs. No area of effect damage, only single target. This particular lineup had 1 character with an AoE. It was Zam Wessel, but there are plenty of different teams throughout the Conquest that don't have AoE attackers or AoE teams. Phoenix, Tuskens, sometimes some Ewoks, some First Order teams. There's a lot of teams that don't have AoE attackers or damage dealers. So this one had 1. It was one of the best ones I found on the node. I have another one I'm going to showcase in another battle. So over here, you see how I do the Mass Swarm? We have Retaliate on our Dedra. So that's 1 stack of Retaliate. So that's very nice. Now over here, I have a stun available. I'm going to go ahead and stun Forlom. Now over here, as you can see here, I'm applying buff immunity and the entire team got exposed. That's going to help me land or get Retaliate with Dedra Meero on a basic. So over here, it's Dedra's turn. She does a basic on an exposed enemy. That's another stack of Retaliate. She now has 2. So that's going to help you. That's 2 for the battle already, only 30 seconds in. I'm going to put the healing tech on our Major Partagaz because if he's at lower relic and lower gear, then you want to make sure that you can have him healing. Now over here, you can only call Dedra to assist. I made a misplay and went for Zuckuss. You want to target an enemy that had exposed. That would have been 3 stacks of Retaliate. Now over here, she does another basic. That's 3 stacks. I could have had 4. So at this point, you could do it on full auto, but I want to make sure I do it manually to make sure I get as much Undermine and Retaliate as possible. Over here, another a basic on an exposed enemy. That's another stack of Retaliate. I do the same thing over here. Another stack of Retaliate. You guys get the idea. So Major Partagaz and Dedra are not getting touched throughout the entire battle. Unless your crew loses protection, that's going to leave them exposed. You got to be careful. Now over here, I cannot attack anyone with exposed because Zuckuss is taunting. So I'm going to go for Undermine on crew to help towards my global feat. So that's what I want to showcase. That's the idea. What you pretty much want to do is hit a basic on the exposed enemies with a Dedra because it gives her Retaliate. And whenever you do a Mass Swarm with Major Partagaz, she's also gaining Retaliate. So if you do this for 1 battle, you're going to get the Retaliate done nice and easy. Now for Undermine, it might take you a little bit of time. The mini boss nodes in Sector 1, you definitely cannot cheese. I am telling you, I tried. They literally put Darkseid Rey and Darth Vader Duel's End on mini boss nodes in Sector 1. They really don't want any cheeses to happen because they are massive, insane AoE damage dealers. So the cheesing is simply not going to work on the mini boss nodes as easy as you think. So over here, you just got to find the right node along the path. There's 20 different teams or 22 different teams. Just got to find the right single node to get this done. No AoE attackers, and simply just make sure you can tank. Now, my crew here was getting a little bit low. If I did have the guard and penetrate data disc, that probably would have helped him survive a little bit longer because it gives him like 200% defense. But over here, I am going to go a little bit faster. I'm going to show you guys towards the end of the battle. This is one variation with Major Portuguese and Dedramiro. So we're going to skip a little bit ahead. I will go towards the end, but it's all the same concept. Whoop. Let me go back really quick. So I'm going to end the battle, end up finishing it in the last 5 minutes. And over here, as you can see, I get my 15 Retaliate as well as my 100 buffs gained throughout the battle. That one's not that hard. What I want to showcase now is the second variation of the composition with different data discs. Because I had 3 different accounts. I got to test it a little bit. This one's going to be a little bit different. It's going to be Captain Rex lead with Wat Tambor, C-3PO, Dedramiro, and Baylan Skull. This is my free-to-play account. I have a Gear 12 Rex and a 4-star Wat Tambor. Not the highest, gearing or relics. I threw in Baylan Skull on this account because he's a better tank for me than Crew. So if you have Baylan Skull, he is pretty good and a lot better than Crew in my opinion because he has an AoE stun and he's a little bit more durable in my opinion. So over here, this is now including Perseverance. That's going to be essential for this strategy because you're going to see when C-3PO calls Dedra to assist, she's going to be applying a double basic. So over here, I go for an AoE stun. I put the tank tech on Baylan. Go for the form up over here. This is another node with no AoEs. It's a little bit harder because they are kind of annoying with Kiadi Mundi and Shak T. Like, they have a lot of tenacity. But as you can see here, you see how Dedra does a double tap and she has Retaliate? That's because of Perseverance. Now, over here, I go for the Undermine on Wat Tambor to stack my global feat, waiting to get the basic on an exposed enemy. Now, over here, I'm changing the strategy. I'm putting the weapon tech on C-3PO because his mass assist is more important than Dedra doing a basic. Because whenever he calls her to assist, she's going to be attacking twice. And you're going to see throughout the battle over here, that's an exposed right over here. It gets cleansed constantly because this team it's a very hard team to go against. But over here, I don't end up using a basic because it's a waste. But over here, go for a basic that's an exposed, getting constantly cleansed by snips. So it's just a very rough node. But the whole point is showing you the strategy. Now over here, Wat Tambor is going to go... Now watch this. I call her to assist. It gets exposed and she attacks again. So that's a stack of Retaliate, as you can see, because of Perseverance. So that's the strategy. Not as easy as the other one, but if you guys don't have Major Portuguese up and running, or you just don't have the right data disc, or just showing you guys different options. So this is a second one that you can do. Now if I skip ahead a little bit, my team's absolutely fine. I end up kind of whittling them down throughout the battle. I would recommend finding a different node. This one's kind of annoying, but I am stacking my Retaliate. Just pretty much over here with C-3PO, keep calling Dedra to assist with that data disc. So showing you 2 different options. See the Retaliate, we're still going against the exposed enemies. That's the way to do it. So over here, I'm going to skip a little bit ahead. I don't know if I end up timing out in this battle. I forget. We'll let it play out. And I'll show you guys the rest of the feats. So over here, let's go for 2x speed. More Retaliate for me. And this is my free-to-play account, so this is very helpful. Very, very helpful. I didn't think I was going to be able to get this done this easily. And okay, so over here, I get my Retaliate done, and I was able to get 300 dots because of Wat Tambor with his out of turn attack, which is applying damage over times. So that worked out really well for me. We're now going to move on to the next thing, which is going to be another Retaliate for more endgame players. If you guys have Darkside Ray, there's no reason to cheese because she makes it a lot easier. She has an AoE Retaliate. The only thing is she does way too much damage with Relic Delta. So you have to make sure, you probably have to do it 3 times because she just deals way, way too much damage. And you're going to keep resetting the turn meter. So I just have to showcase if you're an endgame player, that's the way to do it. You have Darkside Ray, she makes it an absolute breeze. So that's that. Next up, we have to talk about KX Security Droid surviving. This is the team. This is my go-to cheese team for every single conquest. If you have a level 1 Gear 1 KX Security Droid, Maul lead with Canderous, Wat Tambor, and Django is literally easy mode for conquest. You put the weapon tech on your Maul. He does an AoE. Django gains turn meter. Or no, Canderous gains turn meter. He does his special ability. That triggers Maul's Frenzy, and then he can just unleash on everyone. So your KX is never touched, and your team absolutely destroys everybody. So that is by far going to be your best easy cheese for KX Security Droid surviving, and it's not even requiring that many good data discs. Now, next up, we're moving on to the mini boss node. This is win with Mandalorian and Bo-Katan Kryze in your lineup, as well as Cobb Vanth. It's pretty self-explanatory. If you have Bo-Katan Mandalore, do it. You're able to combine the team to make super efficient one battle attempt on both feats. So this one's ridiculous. This is a mini boss node in Sector 1. It has Darkside Ray. That's so annoying. So they're going to go ahead and do their thing. I'm going to go ahead and kill Crew. Darkside Ray is going to do her thing. She hits pretty hard for a Sector 1 boss. But pretty much, if you guys are mid-game, end-game, and you have these characters unlocked, combine the teams together, and you're going to get both feats in one, just like that. Well, I did it previously, and then I combined them later on. But you're going to get the Cobb Vanth surviving, as well as Mando and Bo-Katan Kryze. Now, this is the final boss node. This one was kind of annoying until I realized that my Director Krennic's unique wasn't leveled up, and then it made it a lot easier. So, I do have the team at 5 and 6 star. This is my endgame account, but if anyone has a 4-star or 5-star Major Party Guest or Dedra Miro, you have the team at Relics anyway. It's going to act the same. So pretty much, your decoy is going to help a lot here, but Dedra's going to go first. I end up just trying to get rid of Royal Guard. I have Blindside on this one, so every time you attack out of turn, they are inflicted with Expose. That's very nice to have, because he gets one shot. Now, over here, if they have Target Lock, you do Krennic's middle ability. They get hit with Blind. Once Palpatine is down, get rid of Darth Vader Duel's End, because he's such an annoyance. He's immune to Expose damage. He's going to go ahead and do his thing. I'm telling you, this is a pretty tough final boss node for Sector 1. One of the toughest I've seen in a long time, especially with Darth Vader Duel's End. He's an absolute nightmare. But you will get there. If you have the survivability, you're going to be absolutely fine. I do think Blindside is very helpful for this team, because every time you attack out of turn, which you're doing often, you're getting inflicted with Expose. So that is an absolute no-brainer. Nice and easy, full squad of ISB. And then the last thing is, I also got Undermine with this. So, again, if you guys are endgame and have a full squad of ISB, Undermine's a breeze. It just makes it so much easier. You're going to get done in like 2 or 3 battles. But the last feat for the final boss is win with no tank in your squad. Very manageable. Ton of squads. You could just do attackers. So I could showcase 500 different teams. Just whoever you use, do not throw in a tank. So that is going to wrap up Sector 1, guys. I know it's a little bit later than normal for my first day, but I'll probably post it late at night. And we'll do Sector 2 tomorrow. So if this video did help you, don't forget to leave a like, comment down below. And as always, subscribe to the channel for more content from your boy Vex. On the road to 20,000 subs. We're just over 2 years on YouTube. Let's see how fast we get there. So, thank you guys again for tuning in. I'll catch you guys tomorrow for Sector 2. And may the Force be with you all. Peace out, Knights.